Why Idaho? Why did you come up here?
What happened basically up here, during World War II, there was a fellow by the name of Roy Schreck who started the Mammoth Schreck Flying Service down in Spokane. Roy was about 20 years older than I was, and he was in the service with me. And I was still in the military, and I flew was down to Phelpsfield in Spokane, and I had some time off to kill. I delivered an airplane or something, I don't remember. I was working on Boeing at the time over to Seattle. But anyhow, I visited him, and he introduced me to this young lady from up there, and we started to see each other, and about 2 and some odd years later we were married. And we were married for 41 years, and Mary died of pulmonary emphysema in 1986. This is probably one of the greatest things that actually pushed me into taking care of home patients and people with emphysema and so on. This was the greatest thing. So anyhow, we were married, and of course I was flying B-36s at that time out, and then in 1951 we built the home in Palm Springs. And from that, we used to come up here to go fishing and so on when I could, and I loved it. And then in I think it was 70, when the hell was it? Probably 61. It was hot as hell in Palm Springs and so on, and I was out on flights and so on. So we took and bought this place up here so Mary and Kathy could come up. And I built a little shop up here, it was a machine shop, and it kept growing and growing. And then finally in 1978, I merged my bird corporation with a 3M company. And I owned it, was everything on it, so it was straight in. And then I started my 4th generation up here.
And so you got kids and grandkids?
I have 1 daughter, and 2 grandchildren, a boy and a girl. Yeah.
When you look back over your life, do you have any regrets?
Really, I don't. You know, I think at 88, I don't think of anything that I really wanted to do I haven't done. And I'm fortunate to have a wonderful wife now, Pam, in other words, and we have the same interests. She's bright as all get out, and she handles inventors, so I don't never consider myself as an inventor, but she can sift all the characteristics of inventors out, and we just get along so well, so it's made, and she's a good pilot. I know she has her own 182 and so on. She's real good.
You met her at a conference? Or?
I met her, actually, everybody, kids, where did you meet? And Pam will always say it's a Disneyland. Now, Pam has worked for the patent office essentially for many years, and then for about 15 years she's handled her own business. And she has a foundation for inventors and so on. In the patent office, she's worked very close with them because of her past association. Well, they had down in Disney World, Disneyland, I guess they call it, down in Florida. And she put on these conferences, and boy, 300 or 400 people, and she'd set up the whole thing through her foundation working with the patent office. And she was the one off and took the gambles, all the food and stuff you have to do. Boy, those things aren't easy. But anyhow, the patent office invited me. I'm the Inventors Hall of Fame. I was inducted in 1995. And so they invited me. I was the only one that she didn't invite as speakers. And I've met her, and geez, I figured, you know, I guess she felt, why the hell did she get me, you know, and so on all the way through. It was the other way around. And I listened to her, man, she had her audience just like this right now. And boy, the way she handled everything was fine. And then she invited me to several other conferences, and we got to know each other over time. And then I guess probably about almost 3 years later, we were married. We've been married 10 years now, and just get along very, very well. It's just wonderful.
And you decided to start a museum?
The museum was something I wanted to take and do. I've been a pack rat all these years. Every loft is filled with stuff, and consequently, I wanted to do this. And then Pam got interested in doing it. And about, I guess, probably 6 years ago now, we decided, okay, we're going to do it. And we figured out the building we needed and so on and so on. But if I had done it, you'd had a few airplanes downstairs and upstairs some medicine. But we built it, and Pam says, no, that's not the way to go. She was right. And I was probably a little testy. Oh, no, we do it my way. But Pam took it over. And then she's got all kinds of people in town and so on interested. And it's really a community deal. And it has turned out fantastically well. It's something, and everybody has come in and given us this and given us that and helped. And it's just tremendous. Our goal is to get the young kids in there and get them interested in the sciences. And especially the 4th and the 5th graders, to get them in there. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to fly. I want to be a race driver. I want to be a chemical engineer, electrical engineer. It's all there. In other words, everything. everything. And Pam has patent models going back to World War II, and you see how they've been improved upon by different inventors. And we bring the kids in, we'll see what you can do. Well, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. Well, if you're going to do that, you better get your arithmetic now. Okay? Because if you don't get your arithmetic now when you get in high school, and boy, you get your higher math, you're going to spin out and say, well, if you want to do that's what. And another advantage, if you get all of this, you can be a chemical engineer, you can be a doctor, you can be an airplane driver, you can be anything you want to. So you get your choice. But if you don't do that, you're locked in. And today, especially with technologies, and we do, and this is our goal. And the kids get so excited in there. And we've had, I think last year, 2,000 or 3,000 people that were bussed in by the schools and so on for field trips. And we get them in and we get a shot. We really work on those kids and they leave all excited. You know, if just get a small part of them. And one experience, Pam and I were out lecturing at a place, we had 150 kids from grade school, middle school and so on, and asked them what they wanted to be. Oh, they wanted to be fireman, nurse, and doctor, and so on, all policeman, all of these things, all excited. Then the next day or that afternoon, we had about the same, 150. These were high school seniors. And asked them, how many follow in the sciences? 3 hands went up. And that's pretty sad. And I think that's one thing that really impacted upon Pam, that really, really made her go forward on that museum. And yet, Pam and I can lecture overseas and so on, in Japan and those places, almost all the hands will go up. Okay? So it makes you think. It makes you think. It's scary. It really is.
Now you have your lodge where you have people come in and you're able to do some class or do things.
What we have medical seminars. We started these many years ago with physicians in Palm Springs, and we have the Bird Institute actually, and we have our own instructors and so on. What we do now, we just finished a seminar here. I think we have about 20 on the average. These are the top people in medicine that handle patients that need respiration, the heart-lung patients. And we have always really senior people, and we try to standardize. Now, for example, we might bring a fellow in from the military. God, he's been doing it for 20 years or something. He knows exactly. And somebody just starting. So we mix it up all the way through. And we'll have our instructors or people come in from the field and show them how to do it. And everything I've built is to open programming. In other words, your brain, the program, you can dial everything up at 12 o'clock, and yeah, it's a default setting like a computer. Everything I build is pneumatic. I have no wires, no batteries or anything else. And of course, that's where aviation came in. In other words, if you look at what I develop, everything is pressure gradients and so on. And my whole base, everything I do is Bernoullian and Newtonian physics. Everything I have done. And I think they'd be proud of how we've taken their theorems and brought them through. But that has enabled me to do that. And that came out of aviation. And they kid me. They say, well, my wind tunnel's the human airway. But you know, you start looking at the lung and you look at airflows across the wings and so on. And in resistances, inhalation and exhalation, boy, there's a tremendous crossover there. There really is. Just a tremendous crossover.